This is an update on what is going on with the P Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs trial, him being imprisoned for pretty horrific allegations. And I am pairing this with, I will be mentioning, I should say, Justin Bieber in this reading as well, and looking at both of these musicians and how they're moving into not only 2025, but 2026 as well. And this update comes with a change in information on his astrology. So this ought to be an interesting thing. My name is Lydia. This is the Feng Shui Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. I welcome you. Please subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. I usually put 2 or 3 out a week. And I am an international Feng Shui consultant and a master Bazi Chinese astrologer. And I welcome you. So this story is heartbreaking, first of all, and disgusting. It's enough to make your stomach turn. I'm going to be very careful with my wording in this video because this man is accused of some horrific acts against children and people underage that involve a whole host of celebrities in the music entertainment industry that I think are coming down. And I think that this is the pin that pulls a lot of air out of what we call celebrity and how we laud these people like they are gods, and what that does to a person when you are put up on such a pedestal for so long that you kind of become a monster. So I think that one of the things that's so interesting about reading these celebrity astrology charts is it does help us to better understand our own. So P Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, pick a name, he's got few. Born November 4th, 1969. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description because there is a video by another astrologer, AuraWright, and her video is called Born This Way, ? What they aren't telling you about P Diddy, Sean Combs. Now, I watched her video and I thought, all right, this makes a lot of sense, what she's saying, and she feels very credible. I am very careful about the astrologers I choose to listen to. Because what she is saying, that typically when we don't have a birth time for someone, which is the case in the first reading I did on P Diddy, that I will put the link to that first video if you're interested in that, because there's going to be some obvious repeats of information, but this is also updated because I think that was a few months ago. But anyway, what she is saying is that basically a Capricorn rising fits the bill for his life. And sometimes that's what we have to do. As astrologers, it is an investigative industry. You are seeking out the information, discerning what aligns with this person's birthday and time. So anyway, thank you to her for giving us what I think is a credible answer to his birth time. So I have it listed as noon. I'm going to hold this up for you. It doesn't have a whole bunch of notes because I have it on a different page, but I know that you like seeing this. So one of the things that I think is interesting, his hour would then be a Yang Earth horse, horse is very passionate. It's very impulsive, very independent, works on its own. And fire is naturally the singer. It is celebrity. It is entertainment as an element. And the horse is definitely going to bring a lot of passion and a lot of creativity and ingenuity into that craft. Now, also, he is born in the year of a yin earth rooster. Roosters are naturally singers. I've said this before. We have many singers, songwriters who are born on the day or the year of the rooster. So that is very fitting for him. Month of the dog, Yang wood dog to be specific. We know that he had a horrific childhood, horrific, traumatizing childhood that very much set him up for the monster he turned into as an adult. And there is such an interesting thing because, you know, initially this guy was really loved. He's a great rapper, big in the industry, made a lot of people famous, and things went weird. Things got weird. Maybe they were always weird. Some of this, just saying, friends, you know, you may have the exact same astrology and be like, oh my God, this is nowhere near who I am. There is a lot to be said for our environment that we grow up in and how all that plays a role, you know. It's always making notes. It's like a painting. These charts feel like they're never done. I go back over them and over them. Anyway, but I think there are shadow aspects to every one of us that, given the right conditions, can bring out that shadow. All right. So that being said, hold on. I'm back. Sorry. All right. So, for instance, if we are looking at somebody born in the year of the rooster, what are shadow qualities of somebody born in the year of the rooster? Proud, argumentative, impulsive, vain, pretentious, self-centered. Okay? But then we look specifically to himself as a person born on the day of a water sheep. Sheep can be eccentric, vulnerable, sensitive, pessimistic, naive, gullible, self-indulgent, and irresponsible. They also, sheep day makes so much sense. This is year of the rooster, day of the sheep. That is artistry at its best, really and truly. This brings in craft and creativity, innovation, a natural artist that wants a stage to be seen and to be heard. Certainly did manifest that for himself, right? The sheep, traditionally, is the peacemaker of the Chinese zodiac. Donald Trump is born on the day of a sheep, but we don't always see the more positive qualities. And in a different circumstance, not that we're doing a comparison here on Donald Trump, soon to be president of the United States again, but Donald Trump was he grew up in great wealth and opulence, but it was a horrible family situation. And horrible family situations create trauma, and that trauma can come out in all kinds of different ways. Some people wind up parroting that trauma in their own lives, inflicting it on others. Others cave power, continue the abuse by choosing, in work environments, marriages, relationships of all kind that just repeat the trauma. That's what many of us wind up with. In this situation, when we look at his month, the dog and the sheep form a semi-earth penalty. His life pillar, which is a hidden pillar that we all have that really speaks to why we're here living this life. And P Diddy's life is about creating and enjoying the process of everything he creates. No doubt, he was on top of the world. And it's all about his work, family, home, his responsibilities. He has lots of children. Lord knows. Daughters specifically mentioned in his life pillar. And you could say young girls. It also shows somebody that is got a spiritual life, comes in with that spiritual life, comes in with also an ability in his life to get backing, to get support for like the projects and the work that he's going to do. And it's also a journey of the self and the people that he's involved in, his circle, his community. The ox with the dog month, his day of the sheep, is too much earth. He has, in his 5 elements, he is a yin water person. There is no yin water anywhere else in his chart. He is elementally feeble. Now, there are 2 things here. One is the situation in which he grew up in, okay, which is oppressive. And then we see the fact that he's feeble, elementally, energetically weak. And because of that, what do people tend to do? What do people tend to do when they feel weak? Again, you either cower or you rise up and try to make up for that lack, right? And that's certainly what he has done. But inside of him, it's a very weak man. He has a balanced amount of metal supporting him at 17%, but his own water element is only 9%, if. What he creates and produces is weak at 13%. Fire, the element that is his industry, entertainment, music, all of it, weak at 12%. Now, because he was in the industry, and this is important to know, that when we have a weak element, if that element can be enforced, strengthened by the job that we choose, because every career has an element attached to it. Like government is earth. Wood is law. Fire is the arts. So he was naturally supplanting more fire, but that actually isn't helpful in this chart because fire feeds the earth. It feeds the control on him. Excessive at over 55%. He's born in the month of the dog. So the season of his chart is autumn. It is dry earth. He's born on the day of the sheep, which is hot, dry earth. Like the beach on a July afternoon. So the tipping point for this guy's chart is coming in 2028. And I don't like to ever predict somebody's demise, but I would venture to guess that when he moves into his next luck cycle in a few years, that his day master of water will give up. I do not think that he is going to survive in jail. I just don't. It's a radical fall a radical fall. And the jail that he's in is apparently extremely rough. And they are protecting him by isolating him, which for somebody who is used to the life that he's used to has got to be strangling, quite honestly. Now, personality-wise, this guy works really hard. I don't know that he sleeps. He goes and goes. He chases his desires. He is manipulative. He's flamboyant. He likes to stay active. He is a survivor and a fighter. Competitive. And has kind of effortless success. Very charismatic. He shows up with authority. He has all that earth, like a mountain behind him. Confident, brave, very strong sex appeal, a natural performer with stage presence. He's also somebody who lives life big and lives it excessively. He surrounds himself with beauty and opulence. He is a lover of the arts. And there is the risk with all things that opulent life becomes destructive. His hour of a young earth horse with his sheep and his current luck cycle that started in 2018 of the snake forms a full fire trio. This brought in a lot of wealth, a lot of focus on property, celebrity, and fame, but great challenge, shift to his career. That's the yin earth sitting on top of the snake of this current time of his life. So there is challenge, critics, judges, authority figures coming down on him. Well, that certainly blew up in 2024 when they raided his house and threw him in jail. And then within the snake, there is mention of law and government. Now it's time to pay the piper for everything you did. Tucked down in there, and of course these are allegations, he has not been found guilty. But I'm sorry, if you look at all the video and documentation that he did, yeah, is he like the one that threw the party and everybody's pointing fingers at him as the one that started all this? Or is he the fall guy for an industry that is rotten to the core? And there are so many celebrities that have been filmed at these parties that he threw that they're all going to go down together like a house of cards. Well, we're going to find out. It's going to be very interesting if this turns into another situation where somebody just mysteriously dies in jail. Like Jeffrey Epstein. You know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And friends, let me just say, please, 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 please do not put salacious comments, unkind or disrespectful. I will delete them, happily delete them. Our world doesn't need any more of that unnecessary noise. Please be kind and respectful. Always, always, always. Okay. What else can I tell you about what's happening here? So yeah, this current time of his life is the snake, and the snake is bringing in metal and a semi-metal trio and a full fire trio. Now, this is a nobleman star for him. It is bringing in protection, which makes you wonder, who is protecting him? Who are those angels in his life, right? And with all the challenge going on in his career, are they just going to fall with him? This started in 2018, and within this, again, is mention of daughters and young girls. It creeps me out seeing that. And his career, and the idea of family and home. Now, when we get into next year, which is the year of the snake, competing with this luck cycle of the snake that is ebbing out, a lot of this forecast that I just mentioned is going to be highlighted. The yin wood speaks of action. This is, there's a lot happening in his life. It is not still, it is action, going, busy, engaged. Now, he's in jail, so how much can he do? I don't know. But there is a lot of movement in his life. I would imagine that it is going to be a year of building a legal case to save his ass. So we'll see. Can he get away with it? Harvey Weinstein, he didn't get away with it. And this is like, you see all this in the industry. 3 of these people, 3 men, who we can track back decades to some pretty horrible stuff. And then all the people that were their handlers, their helpers, and were involved. Wow, wow, wow. And this is what I've been talking about with period 9, which is in feng shui, we go through 20-year periods. This is a period of fire. This is going to come after the arts. Now, in some ways, it could be a Renaissance period. I think that first, the house needs to be cleaned. And I think that we're going to go through a reckoning in the next couple of years, especially 2025, 2026, with what's going on with the celebrities. Now, I wanted to just mention 2 other things. 2026 is all fire. And so I think that as a weak water person, this is like the slow underpinning of this person's astrology not able to survive all the fire and all the earth pulling on him. Now, what would change that? What would save him is if there were a full earth trio. Then the chart would become a transform into earth chart, which I have. So during one of my luck cycles, I have so much fire and earth in my chart as a yin water person that during that 10 years, my chart transformed into a fire person. Okay. So that would save him, but that's not his story. His story is a weak man who is being taken down by his own astrology. So the current luck cycle of yin earth snake, which is yang fire, has already done a lot of weakening. Now, as he goes into 2025, year of the snake, goes into 2026, all fire. And 2027 is going to be that hot earth of the sheep competing with his own sheep, reinforcing that earth penalty that brings so much stress, debilitating stress caused by family, trauma, dynamics, all of it. And again, what is family? Your community, your work environment, however you associate your family, right? And his next luck cycle is a Yang Earth Dragon. And so, it feels like the chart just gives up. And again, it's very weird to me because that Yang Earth speaks of home, family, work, daughters, and young girls. But it feels to me like he's smothered. That's the word that came to me. Smothered. Interesting. I want to mention Justin Bieber real quick. The videos that I have seen with the two of them are nothing short of creepy, because Justin Bieber was, I think, 16 years old when P Diddy took him under his wing. And Justin Bieber has a very strange hidden component in his chart that is tragic to me, the way that this played out for him. His life pillar is a yin fire rabbit. Interesting, this speaks of someone whose relationship with their mother is paramount to them. It also speaks of a life that will have a lot of legal things going on, specific to signing contracts, things like that, but also lawsuits, legal filings, things like that. And it is a journey, this life, of discovering himself and playing different roles in his life in order to learn who he is. Like that, set it aside. So that's Justin Bieber's life pillar. We're then come over to Justin's hour, which is his career. This is very much telling a story, because the Yang Earth rat of his hour speaks of somebody whose career is very much supported there with the yin water. There is his career. It's needed because that element is weak in his chart. His chart is so very hot and dry. He is a Yang fire person. It's interesting because his chart, Yang wood dog year, Yang fire dog day. This guy is all about justice and fairness and standing up for the underdog, right? And so his career is very focused on the craft, the art. The thing that he enjoys the most is the making of the music. The rat enjoys the public and being around people, having that audience. But the dog is interesting. This isn't someone that I would peg as necessarily being like obvious in the industry of being a rap singer or a singer at all, So there is that. And this guy really needs his life to be in harmony and to be in balance. All right, the thing that I wanted to mention about Justin's hidden piece is this. His hour of the rat and his life pillar of the rabbit forms a penalty. And this is a relationship penalty that is hitting specific to his work. Very unusual, alternative, bizarre business relationships. If for instance, if you came to me and you said, Lydia, I can't figure it out. For years, every time I try to work with somebody, they turn on me. they stab me in the back, or they harm me in some way. I think that they're safe until they show me they're not. I would see that in their chart and say, this is why. So what would my advice be to you? Be really discerning about the people you get involved with, vet them carefully, and get a backup person to help you navigate those relationships so that you're not making these decisions alone, because your astrology is clouding your view. And so this hidden penalty for Justin really set him up for what happened to him. And it saddens me that that was such a rotten piece of his child's celebrity. And wow. And to mention that, this was the other interesting thing. So when he was getting started in his career, and his luck cycle, ages 11 to 20, starting in 2005, this was a Yang Earth Dragon. This put a ton of energy into his craft, his artistry, more than anything else. But that dragon hit both his dog year and day. It was a threat to him, a threat to him. And the interesting thing is, where it looked like his career was rising, that challenge of the dragon to the dogs actually was working against both him and his own sovereign self, as well as his career. That chapter was not helping his career. And again, it's that false idea of somebody waving some carrot in your face saying, ooh, look at this, and you follow blindly. There we go. Now, his current luck cycle is about to end. A yin earth snake, giving him a semi-fire penalty from ages 21 to 30. This was a time of transformation in his life. He had to reconcile what happened to him and turn that into craft, into songs. This was a reclamation of himself, a re-identifying with his audience. But the penalty speaks of illness, accidents, lawsuits, loss of money, a lot of challenge here. And we saw that. Now, he's moving into a new luck cycle. This is not helpful either, I'm sorry to say. I don't know what's going to happen with Justin Bieber, because the allegations against P Diddy Combs that involve him, I don't know about you, man, but if that stuff gets pulled out into the public and aired out for everyone to see in maybe more detail than you really wanted, and maybe maybe he testifies or gets involved in the case, I don't know, but this is tough astrology. It's a yang metal horse that's coming in, which is it's almost like the front and center is a father figure, maybe his relationship with his father, maybe his own role as a father. It's also about all the different ways that he earns money, royalties and things like that. And there's also a lot of concern around his health. The yang metal is needed. It's very weak. There's only 4%. And it speaks of love. But the horse is yin fire, and it's like a change in his audience, a change in how he's seeing himself. He's playing a new role now. He's a father. And there is a lot of change, radical change happening around all of this in his life, making new choices, perhaps radical. The horse is the enemy of the rat, sitting in his hour of his career. And that, my friends, could be it. Maybe this is where we see a very big chapter of Justin Bieber's life fold in, and he shifts his gears to focus more on his role as a dad. And I think the year of the snake for Justin is going to be a real, in combination with what's happening with the horse. There's a lot of fire in his chart. And it is really looking at who am I, wrestling with that identity. And fire is also mental health. And again, there is a lot of fire here. And there will be for the next few years. So this is a very interesting time, my friends. And I thank you for watching. Again, keep your comments kind, constructive, useful, all the things. And thank you. Until next time, please be well.